Today I'm going to be reading from The Dystopian States of America, a charity anthology benefiting the ACLU. My name is Ralph James White, and this is my story, Blue and Red. They ran. Matthew looked back, turning around and firing his shotgun at the mutated things racing after them, while trying his best not to trip over trash in the road or his own feet. Rashad's weapon was still in its holster. He was just hauling ass, not bothering to shoot at them. He looked over at Matthew and frowned, rolling his eyes and shaking his head like he was looking at the world's biggest fool. Matthew hated when Rashad looked at him like that. "You're just wasting ammo. You ain't hitting shit. Just keep running," Rashad shouted. "I'm trying to slow him down. By shooting all over the damn place, you ain't even aiming. Just fucking run." The things didn't have much stamina. Rashad had killed a few in the past by running them to death. One at a time, they'd collapsed of heart attacks after just a few blocks. The other thing that gave Rashad and Matthew hope was that the things were weak, flabby, and slow. They tended to have low-hanging bellies and skinny arms, and spent their time blinking, twitching, and sniffing. They were mostly scavengers, carrion eaters that scarfed down garbage like giant raccoons. But they turned carnivorous when there was live prey available, hunting in large packs to overwhelm their outnumbered victims. One-on-one, either man could have beaten one of those things to death with his bare hands. It was only in huge mobs, like the one currently chasing them, that they were dangerous. Matthew hated running. It made him feel like a coward. Besides, all the muscle he carried made him only slightly faster than the creatures. He wondered how many of those things he could take out before they got him. He had the shotgun, some martial arts training, and he was pretty fit. He was sure he could take out 6 or 7. Rashad could probably take out another 4 or 5 with his Beretta. That still left almost a dozen. Terrible odds. Rashad was right. It was better to outrun them. "I'm so fucking sick of this fucked up world. Just keep running. I'll scrounge you up a beer once we're safe." "Fuck the beer. I'm gonna find me a bottle of Wild Turkey." Earlier that day, Rashad pulled a new Big Quattro from the pack, sprayed brute shaving foam into his hand, and smeared it on his face. Slowly and carefully, he shaved around his mouth, chin, and jawline. All it would take was a little bit of hair between his face and the gas mask, and it wouldn't fit properly, and might allow whatever biological or chemical weapons still in the air to infiltrate his lungs. He'd been lucky so far. He had no idea why he was still alive, but he had no intention of giving up the gift of life over some careless mistake. The clean room was airtight. The only air that came in from the outside had to go through 7 filters. Fresh air had to be continuously pumped in, and they were running out. The only oxygen tank they knew of was 3 miles away, and they would have to cart 7 or 8 containers with them in order to bring back enough to last another week. "Hurry the fuck up, white boy." "Fuck you, Jigaboo. I'm moving as fast as I can." "You better kill all that Jigaboo shit, Peckerwood." "Then you kill all that Peckerwood and Cracker shit." "I didn't call you no cracker." "Not today, but you have." Matthew walked out of the bathroom wearing a hazmat suit with just the pants on. The top half bunched up around his waist. His large muscles glistened with sweat. "What the fuck do you work out so hard for? Ain't no more bitches to impress. And I damn sure don't think your cracker ass is sexy." "It's for them mutant motherfuckers out there, Spook. I'm trying to stay in shape so I stay off their fucking menu." "I told you to watch that Spook shit," Rashad yelled, jumping up and grabbing his 9mm Beretta. Rashad was not a small man at 6'4" and nearly 300 pounds. 10 years ago, he'd been a college running back with dreams of the NFL. 2 years ago, he was a computer repair technician working in the clean room at Texas Computer Surgeons, repairing damaged hard drives. Then that idiot president decided to nuke North Korea, and the entire world went to hell. In a matter of weeks, everyone he knew was dead, except Matthew. He pointed the gun at Matthew's head. Matthew's shotgun was on the other side of the room. he'd be dead before he could reach it. Take that shit back, white boy. Nigga, you called me a cracker. Now you just called me a nigger. What the fuck is wrong with you? I said it with an A at the end. That don't fucking matter. Man, get that gun out my face before I make you eat that motherfucker. We're running out of oxygen. I ain't got time using up mine fighting with your fat ass. Matthew was a college wrestler with dreams of becoming a cage fighter. His daddy had been a congressman or a senator or something like that before the bombs and the chemical weapons and the biological weapons and the radioactivity and the damn mutants. You can't fight, white boy. The only fight you ever had, you got your ass kicked. I was 8. See, if you could fight worth a damn, you'd have had more fights. I fought all the time in high school and college. I kicked more ass than you ever dreamed about kicking. You beat up motherfuckers smaller than you. That ain't fighting. I was training to fight other fighters. That takes real heart. You don't know shit. You don't know shit, motherfucker. Now get that fucking gun out my face. After you apologize. We're running out of air fucking around. Then fucking apologize. I apologize, motherfucker. Damn. Thank you, Rashad said, tucking his Beretta back into his shoulder holster. I'm gonna whip your fat black ass one of these days. If you ever thought about trying to whoop my ass, I'd end up being the last man on earth. Matthew had been a client of Rashad's. He was in the office raving about some papers he needed for his plumbing business that were on his computer when it crashed and how he needed them ASAP. Rashad was explaining that if he didn't have so many viruses from all the porn sites he visited, his hard drive wouldn't have crashed. They both fell silent when news of the Holocaust began coming in. They were lucky because the clean room at Texas Computer Surgeons not only filtered outside air using a system of HEPA filters, but also air could be shut off entirely and fresh oxygen pumped in. The room itself was kept at positive pressure so that when staff entered or exited through the airlocks, or if there was ever a leak, air would leak out of the chamber rather than allowing unfiltered air to leak in. An air shower blasted off any dust, contaminants, or pollutants from their clothes before they entered the airlock, and they put on protective gear, gas masks, gloves, hats, and shoe covers. It was the perfect environment to help them survive the radioactive cloud that rolled across America, killing everything it touched. As soon as he heard about the cloud on NPR and saw it headed right for them, Rashad rushed into the clean room and barricaded himself inside. Unfortunately, not before Matthew leapt the counter and charged in behind him. They had been there ever since, exiting only to get food and water, gas for the power generator, and more oxygen for the tanks. At first, Rashad had been happy he wasn't alone. Matthew helped carry water, gas, and other supplies that would have been difficult for him to manage alone. Then they started talking politics. Specifically, who was to blame for the end of the world. He'd been shocked to discover that his conservative roommate blamed liberals for the downfall of civilization, even though it had been a conservative president who'd ordered the preemptive strike. If the Democrats hadn't cut the defense budget, those damn terrorists wouldn't have attacked us, and we wouldn't have had to blast their asses. And how many damn bombs do you think we needed? We had enough to end the world 100 times over. Yeah, but when we started reducing our nuclear stockpile, it was a sign of weakness. And the world, that's why the North Koreans attacked us. Rashad shook his head. They didn't attack us, you fucking idiot. We attacked them. We fired the first nukes. Only because they were building their own nukes and chemical and biological weapons and shit. We had to strike first. They never would have tried that shit when Reagan was in office. Reagan? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Why do all you white conservative motherfuckers idolize that old fool so much? Do you know what his bullshit trickle-down economic theory did to the poor people in America? Do you even know what ghettos were like in the 80s? He's the one who started shipping cocaine into this country and used the CIA to flood the ghettos with it. He turned the young black male into public enemy number one at a time when we should have been on the rise. His bitch ass set black folks back at least 20 years in this country. He set race relations back 30 years, and he increased the gap between the rich and the poor about 100-fold. That's just a bunch of black militant conspiracy bullshit. What are you, an Obama lover? A what? Is that some kind of sneaky way to say nigger lover, you piece of shit? If his weak ass had struck back at them in 2012, we wouldn't be in this mess. We could have blown them off the map before they ever built all those damn weapons. Instead, he talked to them like he could stop them with his teletype speeches. How do you know they even had biological weapons back then? They didn't. How do you know? Because I know. That black bastard ruined this country. Bullshit. That white piece of shit who fired the missiles ruined this country, along with the rest of the world. How do you know they ever would have used those weapons if we hadn't fired first? Who builds a weapon of mass destruction without the intention of using it? And that's what the rest of the world thought about us with all our nukes. That's why they armed themselves with their own weapons. That's why we needed to disarm. Nah, those nukes were the only things keeping those gooks in check. But of course you'd side with the terrorists, being a Muslim and all. I ain't no damn Muslim, I'm an atheist. Yeah, but you're a Muslim atheist, ain't you? How else did you get a Muslim name like Rashad? You one of them followers of Farrakhan, ain't you? A Muslim atheist? That don't even make no damn sense. And Rashad ain't just a Muslim name, it's an African American name. I ain't no Muslim. Whatever, man. You still sympathize with him. With who? There ain't nobody left. There ain't no more terrorists. There ain't no more Nation of Islam. There ain't no more America. We're all that's left. Matthew rolled up his sleeve of his hazmat suit to reveal a tattoo of the United States flag next to an orange Longhorn tattoo and a Confederate flag. As long as my white ass is alive and breathing, America is alive. Rashad rolled his eyes and turned his back on the man. That's about the dumbest shit I ever saw. All you rednecks waving a Confederate flag with one arm and the U.S. flag with the other. The South rebelled against our country. You know that, right? They tried to secede from the United States. They were a bunch of fucking traitors. And you stupid motherfuckers fly both flags. What's next? Swastikas? It ain't the same. The Confederate flag celebrates our heritage. Nazis were the enemy. Rashad shrugged. The South was the enemy too. They were fighting against America. You just don't understand. Rashad nodded, a sly grin on his face. You know I'm right. You're flying an enemy flag on your arm, traitor. Fuck you, you black bastard. Rashad laughed and shook his head. Yeah, but I'm a black bastard who knows better than to wear a traitor's flag on my arm. Matthew looked at his arm and then tugged his sleeve back down. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know I'm right. Fuck you, darky, cracker, nig. Go ahead, say it. I swear it'll be the last word you ever speak, Rashad said, placing a hand on the Beretta. Matthew looked down at the gun. He had his shotgun slung over his shoulder now. He was pretty sure he could pull it around and get off a shot before Rashad could, and he didn't need to be as accurate. But then he'd be alone. Just him and those things. As much as Rashad got on his nerves, it was better than being all by himself in a world full of monsters. All you people do is shoot each other, Rashad scoffed. I don't know why you hate brothers so much. With that thick-ass country accent, you sound just like a hood rat. I don't sound like y'all. Rashad snickered. Yeah, okay. They finished putting on all their personal protection equipment and stepped into the airlock. Why the hell couldn't I have gotten locked in that clean room with Halle Berry or Gianna Michaels instead of some dumb redneck? Because Halle Berry can't kick mutant ass the way I can. Rashad paused in deep thought as they exited the clean room and walked out into the lobby. Mutants. You really think those things used to be human? What else could they be? I don't know. Aliens? Demons? Republicans? Matthew laughed this time. You don't quit, do you, boy? I'm gonna let that boy shit slide this time, but only because I don't have the time to be fighting with you. Oh, lighten up. I'm just busting your balls. Now help me move these barricades. They had parked trucks in front of each entrance to the building. That only left windows as exits, and all the windows were made of tempered glass coated with plastic an inch thick for soundproofing and security. A bullet couldn't get through them. But there was one small window they'd managed to hack through with an axe, creating an opening just big enough to squeeze through. They had parked a large golf cart, which used to be used by security to patrol the building, in front of the opening. To get out, they had to slide the thing over. They kept the brake on it to make it hard to move, but whenever they needed to move it, they disengaged the brake and could then roll it fairly easily. Their SUV, a big yellow Hummer, was parked on the other side. They climbed through the window, and in 2 steps they were in the vehicle. More guns and ammunition were stored in a locked box in the back of the Hummer, just in case they ever got surrounded and needed to fight their way out. It hadn't happened yet, though. Whatever the creatures were that had taken over the earth, they didn't work well in packs. They came at you one by one, which made it easier to fight them off. Well, shall we? Drive, motherfucker. What do you need, permission? Matthew started up the Hummer, and they headed down the street, weaving between the rusted husks of vehicles whose owners were long dead or mutated. Rashad said, I hope we don't see any of those things. They freak me the fuck out. They kind of look like him. What? You're crazy. I mean, they're orange. Isn't that kind of a weird coincidence? They ain't orange. They're red. They're some kind of demons. Now that there ain't no more people, hell must have gotten overrun, busted its seams or some shit. Man, that's a damn movie. What movie? Night of the Living Dead. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth or something like that. And these ain't zombies, they're mutants. Whatever. My point is, it ain't got nothing to do with him. Except he started it all. He fired the first shot. What if those chemical weapons didn't come from North Korea? What if they were ours? What if they came from right here in America? Some shit the idiot in chief came up with to make everyone look like him. Like the Joker's laughing gas that turns people's skin white? Now who's tripping? You're getting your theories from a comic book. Or he got his inspiration from one. They ain't orange. They turned the corner and the street ahead was clogged with the things. 30 or 40 of them with orange peel complexions and popcorn-colored hair, lumbering around outside of an old hamburger franchise, stuffing their mouth with moldy, rotting, irradiated meat and fries. They turned in unison and began running toward the Hummer. Shit. See? I told you those fucking things are orange. Really? This ain't the fucking time for I told you so. Before I fucking die, I want to hear you admit I was right. To read the rest of it, order the Dystopian States of America. It's for a good cause. The ACLU. Fight the power.